What's up, guys? Mr. Frazer here, and today we're going to be working with fractions. Now, you may be asking yourself, what's a fraction? That's okay. Hope you're not asking yourself that because it's grade 5. But if you are, today we're going to learn all about it. So listen up. Fraction can be a couple of different things. Today we're going to talk about fractions as part of a whole. Like if I eat 1/2 of a cake. That's what I'm talking about. But a fraction can also be a part of a group. Like if I eat 1/2 of 12 cupcakes, which is 6. So fractions can be two different things. To break it down a little bit more for you, today we're just going to be working with parts of a whole. Now let's take a look at this. With my awesome drawing skills, I have shown a fraction as part of a whole. The red box is one whole. Now, I broke that whole into 4 equal parts, and that's important. Of those 4 equal parts, I colored in 2 of them. So, I have colored in 2 of my 4 equal parts. And this is a fraction of a whole. Now, we call the top number the numerator, and the bottom number the denominator. And what's important is you need to make equal parts. Like this one here. I put 2 over 1 big one. These aren't equal parts. So my fraction isn't 2/3. It's actually 2/4. Because it would be 4 equal parts to make up the whole. So as we get harder and harder with our fractions, you need to be able to determine if it's an equal part or not. This equation would actually be 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/2, like this. Okay? We're going to work with all kinds of fractions like that today. So what you're going to need is some paper, some scissors, some colored pencils or some markers, and a whole lot of patience. All right, guys, on to the next step. Okay, guys, step 1 of today's e-learning has you taking a look at this picture. So, have a look. If you like, pause the video. Check out this shape. What are some things that you notice? Now, if you notice that this shape is made up of many smaller shapes, you'll be right. And each one of these smaller shapes is a fraction of the whole. Now here I have some questions for you to think about. What you can do is you can pause after I ask each question and have a little talk with either a parent, a sibling, or even a friend if you're doing it on Skype or if somebody's come over. So, what I want you to do is just have a think before I talk about the answer. Alright? Give me one of these. That's it. Now, first one says, what shape shows 1/4 of the whole? Now, this is a tricky one because 2 shapes actually show 1/4 of the whole. If you notice, the black square is 1/4 of the whole, but the blue triangle is also 1/4 of the whole, depending on how you break it up. So this one actually has 2 correct answers, the black square or the blue triangle. Which one did you choose? Number 2, Mr. Frazer says that the red triangle is 1/6. Is he right or wrong? What do you guys think? Am I right or wrong? Actually, I think I'm wrong. Because if we extended this line here on the diagonal, we would know that this part is 1/4. And if we take 1/4 and cut it in half, we have 2 equal parts, which equals 1/8. So the red triangle doesn't equal 1/4 or 1/6, it equals 1/8. Mr. Bartlett says that the blue triangle and the black square are the same size. Is he right? Well, if you were listening to me explain the answer to number 1, he is right. They're both 1/4. If you cut the square at diagonals, you would make 4 equal triangles, which would be 1/4. If you cut it down the middle, vertically and horizontally, you would get 4 equal squares, which would be 1/4. And as we know, 1/4 and 1/4 of the same whole is equal. Number 4, which is bigger? The blue triangle or green, pink, yellow, and red triangle put together? What do you think? Now, these are really tricky. Right? We know that this is 1/4. There are 3 out of 4 of these. Now that makes it tricky. We know that this is bigger than this because this is half of 1/4. This is 1/4 broken into 4 pieces. So this would actually be 1/16, 1/16, 1/16, 1/16. This we already decided is 1/8. This is 1/4. So the question is 1/16, 1/16, 1/16, or 3/16 plus 1/8 bigger than 1/4? We're going to need to do a little math for this one. But we know that if you convert 1/8 into 16ths, you'll get 2/16. Add that to the 3/16 that we have, and you would get 5/16. Now, which is bigger? 1/4 or 5/16? Well, it's hard to say unless we convert 1/4 into 16ths. How do we do that? First, we need to decide, what do we do to 4 to make 16? 4 times 4 makes 16. So we multiply by 4. So all we need to do is do the same thing on the top, times 4. So we get 4/16. Now all we need to decide is which is bigger, 5/16 or 4/16. Well, if we have the same size pieces, which are 16ths, and you have 4 of them over here and 5 of them over here, we know that 5/16 is bigger. So, to answer the question, which is bigger, the blue triangle or the pink, yellow, green, and red triangle put together, the answer is pink, yellow, green, and red. Very good. The last question says, about what fraction do you think the white trapezoid is? Go ahead and have a think. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this white trapezoid up a little bit and draw an imaginary line here. I know that this triangle and this triangle are equivalent, which means the same. Right? So I know that this is also 1/8. Earlier, I've decided that these 3 were all 1/16, which makes this 1/16. So in order to find the area or the size, the fraction of this white trapezoid, I need to add 1/16 and 1/8. Now, again, that could be difficult unless we convert 1/8 into 16ths. What do we need to do to 8 in order to get 16? That's right. Just double it, multiply it by 2. So we do the same thing on the top. Times 2 times 2, 2/16. So now I can add my 1/16 from here and my 2/16 from here, and I'll get the size of the white trapezoid. 3/16. All right, guys, that was it for part 1. Part 2 is a little bit more interactive with some scissors and some cuttings and some things like that. I'm not going to be able to do it on the board. I'm going to have to show you down on the table. So grab your gear and let's get going. Hey guys, what's up? Mr. Frazer here. Yo. Now, today what we're going to do is we are going to take a bunch of the same shape and make a lot of different parts of a whole. Then we're going to try to put them back together again. So what you're going to need for this activity is some paper, ruler, some scissors, and some markers. Now, if you're fancy, you can get colored paper and make each fraction a different color. But I'm not fancy, so whatever. Now, on the instructions I gave you for home, I gave you a set of fractions that you were supposed to make. Some of you might be a little confused on how to make these fractions, so I thought we'd go over them together. Okay? The first one is 1/2. In order to make 1/2, all you need to do is fold the paper in half. Open it up, put your ruler on the line, draw, and label each side 1/2. Easy. The second one I asked you to do is 1/3. Now, 1/3 is a little trickier. And what I ended up doing was I took a ruler and I measured how many centimeters. Okay? Just over 29.5. So then what I did was I did a rough estimation of what 29.75 divided by 3 would be. Okay? And that's about, math time, math, 9 2/3. So I took and I made a mark at about 9 2/3. What I did was I folded one side onto this line. I folded the other side onto this line. Okay? 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. It's also called a burrito fold. Then I said make 1/4. What I did here was I folded in half, then folded in half again, 1/4. Or you can fold in half this way, open it up, fold to the middle, fold to the middle. You want to have 1/4 this way. Put the ruler on the line, draw the line, label, 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 label. Then I said to make 1/4 a different way, which is this one. What I did here, folded it, but instead of folding it again the same direction, I folded it this way to make 4 equal parts. Put my ruler on the line, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. After 1/4, I asked you to make 1/8. All right. Same way, I fold in half, then I fold in half, and then if I wanted to, I could have folded this way, but to make it a little bit easier on myself, I folded it this way. Open it up. Lines. 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8. Next, it's 1/6. Okay? For 1/6, fold it 1/3, and then a half again. That will give you 6 equal spots. The last one was really easy. 1/1. That's just a whole piece of paper. For bonus, I said that you could do 1/12 and 1/16. But if you want to know how to do these, figure it out on your own. Just kidding. It's 1/6 folded in half, 1/8 folded in half. You guys could probably figure it out, but here's what it looks like. Now what you need to do is where your patience comes in. You take each of your sheets and your trusty pair of scissors and you cut on the lines. Now, it's very important that you cut these well so that your shapes are continually equal. If you cut off the line, then this won't be the same size as this one. So make sure you take your time and cut your sheets well. Now, I have quite a bit to do, and I don't think you want to watch me do it. So, how about we use the magic of TV editing and... Alright, so now that we have all of these cut up, we have a big pile of fractions. Now what our job is to do is to try and make one whole again. So I'm going to put my pile of fractions off to the side here. And I'm going to put my one whole in the middle here. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to piece together one big fraction. Does that make sense? What I have to be careful of is I need to watch out, make sure that I'm not overhanging and I'm not leaving any gaps like this. Okay? So, what we need to do is think closely. Not going to do it. If I take a half, 1/2, and then maybe 1/8, and let's say 16, and then aha, this guy here. One-4. I get one whole. So 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/8 plus 2/16 equals one whole. Now my job is to try to make as many of these out of as much of this as I can. That's also your job. Alright guys, when you make the craziest one, I want you to take a photo, post it on Seesaw, and then answer the questions that I wrote below. I'll be on there to comment and give you feedback on what you did. Good job guys. Talk to you later.